We've got people coming back to rosters. We got people leaving rosters. We've got all kinds of waiver claims. Let's just get into it right here on Fantasy Whiplash Live. Hey, what is up today?
What's up, man?
What's up, peoples?
How we living?
Man, you know me. If I was any better, there'd be two of me.
That's a scary thought, actually.
It is, actually.
I don't think that the world would handle that very well, but it would be fun.
Believe me, I don't want there to be two of me. Honestly, I can barely afford to eat right now.
Yeah, it's a struggle out here. That's why you got to win these fantasy leagues so you can put food on the table for Christmas time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the man of the hour. Joe Frick has made his return to the Fantasy Whiplash Live stage.
Yeah, man.
Joe, how you been, man?
Things are good. It's good to be back. Just we're getting into crunch time here from a fantasy perspective. So I am a big waiver slut. So this time of year is really fun for me. So the Haskins versus Vidal last week. Who are you going to drop now that Rashee Rice is coming back? Interesting talking about him on a show called Fantasy Whiplash. But yeah, I live for this stuff. So excited to be back as always. And yeah, let's talk some ball, man. This is where things get interesting.
Yeah, this is it's make or break time for a lot of people. Either you're near the top of the standings and you're trying to prep and make sure your team is, ready to make that run. Or like, honestly, there are teams that are like 0-6 out there, but the middle of their league is like all 3-3. Mm-hmm. So, you make the right moves and you get yourself right back into it.
And you got to do something. You got to try. Like, you signed up for this game for the season. Maybe you have a high point total and just hasn't broke your way. Maybe you've had some people that get injured. But, like, you know what? Like, you can either just be sad and do nothing about it and then just donate your money to that same dude who's always winning your league, or make some moves, take some risks, see what happens. Like, that's why you play the game. You want to simulate being a GM. Let's fire a coach. Let's make a trade. Let's get things going. Send a message to your team.
Yeah. And now's the time, earlier in the season, I usually advocate not taking too many risks early on. I mean, you drafted guys for a reason, so you want to stick by them. Whereas some people week one, they're just waiver galore and they're dropping guys that I'm like, what are you doing? But now is when I think you can start to take risks on people and stashes, if you feel a certain way about, something, if you've got the room on the roster, as long as you've got your bases covered with your starting lineup. And
I think too, it depends, like you said, with the record. Like, for example, if you're fighting for your life, you probably can't afford to hang on to somebody like a Travion Henderson who could figure it out by the end of the year, but you know that he's probably not going to figure it out this week. So it's like, all right, like sayonara, no hard feelings, but I need to get this win this week. So you need to think about it more as I always like to think about fantasy in like 3-game stretches, 4-game stretches. And it's like, all right, if you completely goosed that first 4 and the second 4 ain't looking too good, you're going to need 7 wins at least to get into the playoffs if you're in a 16 playoff. So you can't hold on to those pieces forever.
Yeah, I actually, in my home league, Started out 0-5. I did have, I suffered several injuries, but I had Bryce and Coker stashed this whole time, and I'm like, come on, guys. I just hope they come through for me. But again, like I said earlier, some of the guys in the middle of the pack are 3-3. There's like 3 people in front of me that are 2-4. I started off 0-5, and then I beat the first place team this past week.
Yeah.
So, just one at a time, baby.
It's all you can do. Yeah, you got to win to fight the week. If you can do some things to navigate bye weeks, we have a major bye week coming, not this week upcoming. There's only 2 bye week teams, but you have a huge bye week coming in the week. So it's like plan ahead. If you can get ahead and maybe you're going up against somebody that's going to need to fill in certain positions, get ahead of it this week. Block them. Best offense is a good defense sometimes, so there's ways that you can navigate it. But the season
there is, and there's a reason that the platforms operate the way they do, and that this is well, it's a game. You know what I mean? I hear people all the time saying, like, "Is this fair?" This guy picked up a dude and then turned around and immediately dropped him just so he was on waivers and I couldn't pick him up.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I've been in like the semifinals and the other guy had an injured quarterback and I picked up all the free agent quarterbacks.
Absolutely. I did that last week. I have a dynasty team that's taking a lot of injuries. A guy had Lamar Jackson in his lineup, and it was the only quarterback that was available was Cooper Rush. It actually would have been better for him to play Cooper Rush because he scored negative points. But I don't forget who it was. It might have been like a Hollywood Brown or like a middling player. And I was like, "What? Well, you're not playing a quarterback this week. I need this win." So let's go do it.
Right.
I think the thing too is it's like you just have to be like,
your luck.
If your league doesn't like that, or if they don't want to be like that, vote on it. It's your league. As long as the 10, 8, 3, 12, 32, as long as that collection of people that is paying money or whatever you're doing to decide that this league is how we want to run it, there's nobody that can tell you what's right, wrong, or what else for your league. For me,
that's exactly right. I'm
playing for keeps. So if you are going to be in a situation where I'm going to win because you don't have a quarterback, well, I'm going to go and do that. If you're like, I hate that, like you are a terrible person. Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. But like then make your own league. You can set that in your bylaws and then that's cool. And then you have that precedent and then that's fine. But I think it's hard to make those kind of decisions in the middle of a season. I'm a big proponent of, hey, are there any rules that we want to propose before we draft? So that way everybody knows what's going to happen before the money goes in for the year.
Yeah, we do that in my home league as well. And strangely enough, I'm the only one that ever suggests rule changes because these guys are so like married to the old school. Yeah. I mean, and they're not super old, but a couple years older than me. And most of them. And I mean, when I said the first time I said, how about a half point PPR? They were like, no.
Which is the best PPR in my opinion. I think what I hope that someday the standard of fantasy football becomes is half point PPR, half point first downs.
Well, I like that.
Yeah, I think that like getting something for the reception is cool. I don't think that you should get a screen for 0 yards and get a full point.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like there's a balance there. I floated that in a home league and people were like, why would you get points for first downs? And then I was like, all right, well, I'm not even going to to argue this. Like,
forget about it.
It's fine. It's cool. Like, that's on me. Ball up top. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually got them to raise it to a full point this year as a almost like a compromise because I wanted to put some sort of premium on tight ends.
Okay.
And they were like, you have 2 tight ends because I had McBride and Bowers last year. But I only got 2 keepers, so I wasn't keeping them both.
Right. And I mean, it wouldn't have mattered anyway unless you had Jake Ferguson. So
Right. Yeah. TE1, baby.
out of control.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just one of those things is touch and go. I think
Oh, yeah.
the other thing I think is interesting is this is the time of year if you are making waiver claims as a team that's high up in the standings. This is the time when you're making waiver claims that you should go ahead and look at that playoff schedule. You know what I mean? If you're about to pick up a dude and you know that he's playing like the top 3 defenses at the end of the year, well, then what good is he really going to do you?
Yeah.
Likewise, if you're someone like me in my home league, I'm doing pretty well in the rest of them, but in my home league where I'm going to be clawing just to make it in, I'll be looking at schedules that are weak for, weeks 10, 11, 12, so that I can hopefully, just roll some people. And if it means I'm screwed in the playoffs, I'm screwed. But I'd like to think
you made it there to dance. Yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah,
the other thing too
but-
is if you are in a league, which I think pretty much the default is for like most leagues, like Fab isn't the standard, right? I think that's kind of like a tier up from kind of like the default setting. So if you have a pretty set team, wasting a waiver claim right now on like a defense or on like a kicker, like save those. If there's somebody that drops that's big that you're going to need. I was in a league a couple weeks ago. Michael Pittman randomly got dropped, and I was like, all right, like snatch. Like you can afford, you want to save that so that if that situation presents itself, that you are going to be higher than the other playoff bound teams.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that was something else I wrote in the article today, which is also called Fantasy Whiplash, if you guys want to check it out on Player Profiler. I was talking about oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought because I was plugging my article. But yeah, what I was going to say is, waiver claims are important. They always are. You know what I mean? You can't win without making some good moves. But this is the time of year when some of these guys are coming back from the IR, when you really need to pay attention to who's being dropped by other teams instead of just going into the waivers, picking the top 3 guys.
Especially if it's sorted by like points or something like that. I think a lot of the apps do a good job of sorting by projection. So let's say in some weird universe that somebody got frustrated and dropped Rashee Rice, like you probably would see him at the top because
you would.
But in case it's not set up that way, then yeah, there are going to be. The first thing I do when I wake up, I'm less worried about who is available for free, but more who got dropped by other teams.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and there's always a situation where, somebody has one guy come back, and so he has to make room and drop another dude who's only on the IR for one more week. Say like it's a Trey Benson, and he's not going to show up in the projections. You know what I mean, for that week. And you're like,
they're definitely trying to sneak it through so that they can pick them back up too.
Oh yeah, there's I have a lot of friends that'll like try to pull one at like 2 a.m. And I'm like, dude, I stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning. So you're not getting anything past me. I do want to say real quick for anybody watching, please do like this video. Please do subscribe to the channel. You can also find this as a podcast on the Dynasty Degens Network. You can go anywhere you get your podcasts and search for Fantasy Whiplash. So we had a lot of injuries.
It's been brutal, man. It feels like it can't get any worse each week, and then more people just get pushed off the boat.
Yeah, and last week was frustrating because more people got hurt and the waiver wire just did not look good.
No.
You know what I mean? You had, you were dealing with the Vidal and Haskins thing and the Carter and Bam thing. And, who knows what's going on in San Francisco and Tampa Bay last week. You're
For
like,
sure. Yeah. And I think too,
who's not.
Even with the Bam news, it was pretty much, they're like, okay, well, like Bam is going to be the starter, but him and Michael Carter basically got the same work. He just happened to fall into the end zone. So it's been a weird, like, victory lapping for some folks.
Right.
I don't feel great about either situation, but that's kind of what you expect when you get 2, 3, 4 guys down into a committee. It's unlikely you're more likely to see an even split like we saw out of Arizona than a major performance out of like Vidal.
I agree. And Vidal, I've been cautioning people to keep that in perspective. They did let slip that Haskins was starting the game, whether that was a smoke screen or not, who knows. But Vidal, he did that, and it's Vidal, I found out, like Sassoon. Believe it or not. So he exploded, but it was Miami. I mean,
everybody, you and me could put up 100 against Miami.
Yeah, I think I could put up 100 against Miami. So, I guess the question is, and then you look ahead to the Chargers' schedule. They've got the Jags. They've got Pittsburgh. They've got the Chiefs and Eagles. It just feels a lot more like a between the tackles attack, not the shifty little scat back attack. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It'll be interesting how it shakes. He surpassed my expectations by a long mile last week. I didn't think that he had it in him. I actually played him in a league. My running back options were him, Kendre Miller. I had Derrick Henry. That was pretty much the only healthy running backs that I had on my team. And so I went Henry because I wasn't going to not play him out of the 3. And then I went with, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, you probably won me this week. Awesome. But otherwise, there was a laundry list of players that I would have played ahead of him.
Yeah, I played Bourne last week, and he basically won me the game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that team I also played Bourne. It's tough. Like that was a team that I was like,
the day of. I picked him up the day of. He's still not rostered in hardly any leagues.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna be, as soon as Pearsall comes back, he kind of fades out. But man, what a solid couple of weeks out of him.
Well, yeah, and Kittle's coming back too. I think they're all trying to come back this week. So I mean, we'll see if they get through practice without issues, and who knows what Juwan Jennings is going to do with his 5 broken ribs, and
that's crazy to me,
and multiple ankle sprains.
Well, what's wild too is if you watch that game, he was laying some pretty vicious blocks for a dude having 5 broken ribs. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like a cracked rib, sure. 5 broken ribs, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how they like legally let you play at that point. It seems kind of risky.
Exactly. That seems a little dangerous.
Yeah. I fell in an ice hockey game on Sunday, and I haven't walked for like 2 days, so I don't know how he's playing with 5 broken.
I went up the stairs earlier, and I'm not feeling so good. I wanted to mention something because you just said his name. Kendre Miller, I think, is interesting because he's picking up more of the snap share.
Yep.
And actually, he out-carried Kamara, I think not this week, but last week.
Yeah, last week was the first week in a while that he had less than 10 carries. I think the downside of this, though, is that Alvin Kamara has pretty much said, yeah, you're not trading me. This isn't happening. I don't know what y'all are dreaming out there on the Twitter space.
Oh,
but
he said that?
Yeah, I mean, he's come out and said that he is not interested in leaving New Orleans.
Oh, well, here I am preaching to people like, dude, Stash Kendrick, because we all know Kamara's getting moved.
I mean, I don't know if that necessarily stops it, but I know that it's not desired by him.
Yeah, it probably doesn't stop it because they should. I mean, they're gonna.
I mean, they should have did
what
it
they
like
can
2
get,
years
and
ago.
they're shopping Olave too.
I mean, please, I would love to have Olave in a competent offense. Although I will say Spencer Rattler has done fairly well relative to expectation. Chris Olave has been decent. I believe he's actually leading the league in expected fantasy points per game just because of the sheer volume of targets that he's getting. But they haven't been able to really connect a lot with it. But yeah, it's tough sledding. I think with Kendre, I mean, it's going to take an injury, but he's only expected his expected fantasy points per game 5.4. Like that's just not going to get it done, even if he is getting 10 rushing attempts a game. I talked about this a lot before the season because Kamara was one of my guys, and you are seeing it with that offense. It's a lot of tempo, a lot of no huddle, so they're running a lot of plays. It hasn't translated into a lot of targets for Kamara,
it has
which
not.
has been surprising for me, but it's been a great beneficiary for Olave. I think that he's still a buy low type of candidate. I don't know if he'll necessarily make it into that top 12 wide receiver, but I think he's going to end up being a high-end wide receiver too on the season.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get a headache.
I think that is a mischaracterization of Olave. I don't think and he doesn't have a hospital ball car anymore.
I mean, yeah, but there's a second year quarterback and a rookie quarterback. You're telling me they're not going to throw any hospital balls?
No, they're probably going to throw him into the dirt, honestly.
Fair enough. What do you got here? Start 2 running backs: Montgomery, Rashad White, Breece Hall. Pick 2 of them, Joe.
So if I'm going to look at the matchups here, Detroit's pretty stout against the run, but assuming that Bucky Irving is still out, I don't see a world where you can sit Rashad White just out of sheer volume. If we look at the matchup for the Jets, Carolina has actually also been pretty stout against the run. However, no Garrett Wilson because of the calf issue. Justin Fields is going to have to throw the ball to somebody. You would think that Hall is going to be the kind of the beneficiary of that, or they're going to have some guy off of the street. Mason Taylor probably leads the team in targets. Maybe Alan Lazard has a legacy game from last year or something like that. I don't know. So Monty probably is the guy that sits for me. But
yeah, me too. Monty is still very, and Ben Johnson, I think, or not Ben Johnson,
Campbell.
Yeah, said today that they want to try to get Montgomery more carries, but I mean that's coach speak. You know, they say that all the time. But Montgomery is still, right now, he's still touchdown dependent.
For sure.
Now, he gets a lot of them. You know what I mean? A lot of times he finds his way in. But if I'm going for yardage, catches, etc., and the possibility of a touchdown, yeah, I'm looking for both of these 2 guys.
Yeah,
and I believe Bucky has already been ruled out.
Yeah, and the thing is it's like if the only thing could be if you're a little bit superstitious, every other week Monty has scored pretty much this season. So this will be a scoring week if you believe in stuff like that, but that's not really analysis. Like you said, he had 4 attempts, 24 yards last week, so not really running the ball a ton against Kansas City. He got 2 receptions for 37 yards that saved the day. He was a running back 26. Right. He had a lot more run against Cincinnati. He had the big game against Baltimore where they just completely ran it down their throats. This Tampa Bay game kind of has the recipe for it being a high-scoring game, but I don't think that necessarily means anything for Monty. He is more of the, hey, we're up, we want to ground pound. Let's get after it. I don't see that being the case here.
Or hey, we got a pass interference in the end zone, so we've got the ball.
Go get 1 yard. Or we can have Jared Goff become a wide receiver, and then we can move back 5 yards. Either way.
There you go. Right. Yeah, the Tampa Bay is it's going to be interesting next week. They're saying Mike Evans might be able to get back. He's going to try to practice this week. I'm sure that it's not lost on you that Godwin came back and then left and then said he was coming back and then left. And they're like, yeah, it's the tibia. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
I'm not surprised. His foot fell off last year. There's probably other problems. Like, it completely fell off. That's not how bodies work.
Bodies don't work like that.
No, it's not good.
Yeah. So, and now they're down Emeka Egbuka too. So
what a buzzkill.
So that's going to be a wide receiver core. I'm guessing if Evans plays, then we're talking about Evans, Sterling Shepard in the slot, and Tez
Johnson out of Oregon, the MVP. Did you see that story the other day?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
So funny.
That's like such like a rookie move. It was like so endearing. I was like, that's awesome. He's like, but I didn't even do anything. They're like, yeah.
He's like, I haven't done nothing this year. And then Sterling Shepard turns around and tells the entire team what just happened.
Yeah. Hell of a catch, though. I mean, that was a fantastic play. He did the backflip, so that was pretty sick. So I like
it. And I started Tez last week.
There you go. Talk about a deep throw right there.
Injuries were taking their toll, man. Let's grab another one here. Smitty is being so patient. Nico, Rice, or your boy?
The easy start is Nico. Seattle's given up 45 points per game in the last 3 weeks to wide receivers. He's got a plus matchup as far as coverages. So if you look at the way that Seattle plays, they don't really play a lot of man-to-man. It's a lot of like cover 3 is their most popular defensive alignment. And he's played fairly well. I think that's been like his best output has come against cover 3. So that's a big plus for Nico Collins. Easy one. He might be like my start of the week out of all players. Right. This Rice one is a bit tricky. I am a very big proponent in Rashee Rice. If he wasn't suspended, I see him being a second round pick. I struggle with the idea that the first week back from a suspension that he's going to be rolled out and just 100%. So to me, I'm going to live in my fears a little bit. I'll probably play DK, but I think Rice, I want to see it for a week. Unless I absolutely need him to, then I would play Rice. But if I have options like this, I'll probably wait and see and then give him a week to get up to speed. My biggest fear is that he plays like 20 snaps and then just like, whoa.
Right. Well, it's pretty hard for me to weigh in on this because I have Rice in just – I can't even tell you how many leagues I have him in, and I'm going to play him in all of them. So
and they're good matchups across the board. So Vegas is more in the middle, 31 points per game in the last 2 weeks. Cincinnati 34.9, so it's not that different. But Seattle's been getting cooked by anyone and everything that can catch. So
actually, I mean, considering he's got DK, I think DK might be a solid play because
I mean he's had four. Weeks.
I've just been walking around saying that Aaron Rodgers is going to rip us apart on Thursday.
Yeah.
And plus, it's a short turnaround. We've got guys that are banged up on the OL, go figure, and the defensive line. Mm-hmm. They're saying Hendrickson is maybe.
Hendrickson's going to get traded after this week.
Yeah, I think so. What's the deadline? The 4th?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it's
still got some time, but it's like if they're still one for whatever after this, it's like, what's the point?
Well, I mean, regardless, they should just, even if they win another game right now, they're not going to make a run. You know what I mean? Unless Joe Flacco's got that Cleveland magic that he had a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But he didn't have it when he went to Indianapolis. Patriots or Chiefs?
I mean, those are basically the top two matchups as defenses this week. Slight edge to the Patriots going against the Titans. They just fired their nepotistic head coach. They still have Calvin Ridley, who's hurt again, so they don't really have a wide receiver one. The offensive line's banged up. I get that Geno Smith has been bad. I hate division games. I feel like they're always weird, no matter what the circumstances are. So give me Pats against the Titans.
Yeah, I like that too. I'll take anybody against the Titans, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
The Angie's here.
What's up, girlfriend?
Angie. If you haven't talked about what tight ends you drop Juwan Johnson for on waivers, I'm ready to do that in most of the leagues I have him.
I feel that. I dropped him in a couple leagues.
Yeah, I dropped him in a bunch too.
Yeah. I'm trying to look. Let's see here, just like from a roster percentage, who would be players that are still available. Knowing that Angie is a ball knower, Mason Taylor is probably gone. He's only available in 39.5% of leagues. So he would be the most obvious pickup for me.
Right.
If we're going to dig a little bit deeper, Harold Fannin only in 35.2% of leagues. Fannin would be solid.
Fannin and Njoku is banged up right now.
Yeah, so they're running a lot of double tight end looks.
Fannin was already leading the Browns in receptions.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy has had a lot of missed opportunities this year. There's been a lot of talk about
he's had a lot of dropped opportunities too.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Darren Waller immediately shot up to 77.9% after his continued outburst.
Yeah, he gone.
First 3 weeks, so he's gone. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else here. Chigo Okonkwo would be an interesting one for me. He's only available in 19.8. I don't feel great about it with the Calvin Ridley injury. He's just going to get more work. So you could look there.
Man, I drafted him in a bunch of leagues, and I do not have him in any of those leagues anymore.
Yeah. Another one that could be interesting, his volume is upticked just a little bit as of late. I don't have a ton of confidence in it, but in the last 3 games, Evan Ingram has gotten 6+ targets in each of those 3. Tough matchup against the Giants this week, but it's looked a lot better than the first couple of weeks where it was like only a couple sprinkles of targets here and there. They're using him a lot more actively, but the Giants only giving up 11.5 points per game to tight ends in the last 3 weeks, so I wouldn't want to immediately interject him into the lineup. So she said,
looking at Aronde.
Aronde, I don't hate. I think Cade Otton, given all of the injuries in Tampa Bay, you have to give him a look. Brutal matchup for him this week. So if you're looking at Detroit, only 10.1 points per game in the last 3 weeks, and that's going up against Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. And Cleveland's wide receiver room is essentially tight ends. So right. I think that Otton is a great short-term fill-in. Gadsden, you may see a little bit more work just because of the QJ injury, but I think that they're just going to force feed it to Keenan and to Ladd McConkey. He's kind of had his resurgence.
I've got some under the radar hometown cooking, and that is Mike Gesicki tore his pectoral muscle. One of his backups, Tanner Hudson, left with a concussion, which means Fant might come back to relevancy again, like he was at the very, very beginning of the year.
Flacco
and
does
we know how Flacco feels about tight ends.
Mm-hmm. And Pittsburgh is a very porous matchup. For whatever reason, in the history of time, Pittsburgh is always bad at covering tight ends. It's gotten a little better since Deshaun Elliott came back, but I don't know. It's slim pickings.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to fully endorse Fant, but if you're already heavily favored in a matchup or something, I would absolutely run him out there. With only because it's Joe Flacco, really, to be honest with you.
Another one that's going to be matchup dependent would be Theo Johnson. He had a nice game a couple weeks ago against New Orleans. He had the 2 TDs. Philly shut him down, but Philly is pretty good against the tight end. They got Denver this week, but he's somebody with the way that Dart's playing. They got no Malik Neighbors, so they're going to be looking for different options there. Darius Slayton didn't fill in like they expected that he would.
Right. And yet he's projected for like a ton of points this week.
Yeah.
Or not a ton, but like he's close to the top of the projections. I will say, I don't know if AJ Barner is there, but he's boom and bust. Although he's been getting,
which is what you kind of have to live with the tight ends,
right? But when he booms, it's because he got a touchdown, and now they're not just throwing it to him in the red zone anymore. I think last week he had like 6 targets and caught 4 balls.
Last week he was 3 for 3,
on
71 yards. Yeah. And then against Tampa Bay, he went 7 for 7. Really, the last time that he kind of had a flop game was against New Orleans. He was tight end 31, he only got 1 target. But since then, he has been worked into the offense a little bit more. Sam Darnold's been balling. I thought he was going to struggle a lot with that offensive line, but he's really impressed me. I'm very impressed by the way that he's been playing football this year. And that run game, man, that run game is non-existent right now in Seattle. That offense is basically JSN's down there somewhere.
Right. Yeah, I agree. One of my friends who is new to fantasy football, so I try to help her with her lineup, waiver claims, stuff like that. She, for some reason, because her first year in the league 2 years ago, first time playing fantasy football, she had Kenneth Walker, and she has him again this year, and she's like, I love him. And I'm like, he's trending the wrong way. Meanwhile, she's got Scatabo on her bench scoring 3 touchdowns last week.
It's like you didn't see him putting his head through a brick wall. Like, come on. Yeah, the Seattle situation is very interesting to me just because they pretty much let Walker get all the way down the field, and then they're like, all right, Charbonnet, your time to roll.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I thought last week at least they would have gotten more passing work.
I think those roles should be reversed. If
well, the thing is that Ken Walker is an explosive playmaker. He's willing to lose yards to try to make a play. Charbonnet is that I'm always going to fall forward. You need 4 yards, I'll give you 2 yards. If you need 2 yards, I'll give you 4 yards. If you need 10 yards, I'll give you 4 yards.
Right.
You know what you're going to get from him. And that consistency from a football perspective, from staying ahead of the chains, it's very important.
Yeah.
But I don't see him breaking one for, say, 75 house call like you'll see Ken Walker do over.
Yeah, I agree with that. Although I don't think he's doing that with that offensive line either.
Which is shocking because that was supposed to be the new scheme that they're running. It's supposed to play into his strengths really well, and it just hasn't panned out that way at all.
Every week he just seems weaker and weaker, and I'm like, maybe he needs to fake an injury, like all the injuries he's had in the past, and just take like 2 weeks off and then come back.
Got to find your mojo, get it back.
All right, let's see here. What do we got? We talked about Rice. CeeDee Lamb might be back this week. He's going to give it a go in practice. What are your thoughts on Jalen Coker? I think you know how I feel.
Yeah, Cokeheads unite. I think the biggest thing is just whether or not Bryce can kind of spread it around. It's funny if you look at last week, Tyrell McMillan finally scores a touchdown, but he only got 4 targets last week in a matchup that everybody was expecting him to blow up. Kind of saved the day for him because he had the 2 touchdowns, but honestly, 5 targets for 3 receptions, 29 yards, the 2 touchdowns really saved him. And it was a pretty low scoring week. Typically, if you're looking at kind of a PPR format, I mean, 2 touchdowns, you would think that that's going to put you in the top 10. He was still wide receiver 20. He was wide receiver 13 with 2 scores. Like it's not what you're expecting. Having that player in the slot.
I think he finished behind Kendrick Bourne, who didn't find the end zone, I don't think.
So I think that adding Coker is going to be a good element for that offense. He does provide kind of like that soft zone from the slot.
He's so athletic. And he showed last year that he can play like all three wide receiver spots.
Sure. Yeah.
He can run in the slot. That's where they originally had him.
That's where they need him, especially with Sanders banged up right now. It's basically they just have Tedero on an island, and then just like, well, hopefully you can just be better than everyone else.
Right. But yeah, I was watching some Coker highlights today, and I'm excited to have him back. And I've been building him up awful big, so my face is going to be real red if he doesn't come through.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. And I think too, like first game back, if he does play, you got the Jets. They're gonna probably sauce up on McMillan. So does that give him kind of a clear path to targets? Maybe. But yeah, we'll see what they can do. I think it is going to take a little bit to get Coker going, but I am excited about what he can do. I think it's kind of like a wide receiver 3 sort of player, flex play when you need him.
Yeah, well, he did practice all week last week, and then they just did not activate him on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought that they would. I thought they were going to pull him in
too.
So.
I did
it's
too.
Always tough with those lower body injuries, just getting people up to kind of game speed, and if they don't feel comfortable, you're going to survive the game. Those roster spots are just too valuable to not have someone playing.
Right. Hi, Annie Banani. Good to see you. Let's see, what else do we got here? We said CD. We talked about Rice already, Coker.
So what do you think happens with George Pickens once CD returns? Do you think he falls back to wide receiver 2, or do you think he's done enough to kind of get more and retain some of that target share?
No, I know he's going to be wide receiver 2.
Do you think that it pushes out Jake Ferguson, or like who do you think takes the bigger hit out of those two?
I think they both take a reasonable hit. I mean, Ferguson had like 10 targets 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and Ferguson is very much Dak's safety valve.
Right.
I feel more comfortable about Ferguson than Pickens. I think what will be interesting is if CD isn't really at 100%. Does he become more of a decoy potentially? Right. I don't know why you would do that, but thoughts in the brain.
You say thoughts and prayers.
I said thoughts in the brain.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you this. If you have guys coming back from your IR slot, would you go and stash a Christian Watson or a Brandon Ayuk?
No.
Neither?
Neither. I don't see it. Green Bay is such a precarious situation for wide receivers. They all are talented. They all have these different skill sets, and every week it's someone different leading the team in receiving yards. The only pass catcher that I feel good about on a week-to-week basis is Tucker Kraft.
Yeah. They, everybody was saying like, oh, when they come out of their bye, Golden's going to be ready to go. And okay, he had a decent game. But like, I'm like, man, if you think that that's how the Packers operate, you've got another thing coming.
Yeah. Well, I think there's something to be said too about, hey, can a quarterback support a wide receiver 1? As much as you could say, oh, it's based off of play calling, it's based off of this. At the end of the day, there's a pretty good correlation between, hey, this person has been able to support a kind of a top 12 finish. Let's go make it happen. I mean, for all the crap that we gave about Sam Darnold, last year he was supporting both Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. So I think that that's something that people overlooked when it was like, oh, like, well, JSN's a risky pick. Like, they're going to be leaning on the run, like this and that. If he's done it before, you're more likely to see it happen again. When you had what's his face? Who's kind of like their like Deebo Samuel on their team? He's hurt right now.
On where?
For the Packers. He's kind of like their do-it-all.
Oh, Dontavian Wicks?
Nope. He's hurt right now.
Jaden Reed,
thank you. So Jaden Reed, if you look at the year that he kind of popped 2 years ago and was kind of like a wide receiver 1, that was mostly because
they called him a wide receiver.
Well, no. I'm talking about from a fantasy perspective. That was not necessarily because of the pass catching that he had, but all of the rushing attempts that he had.
Yep.
And he had a lot of rushing touchdowns that season that propelled him to it. It wasn't Jordan Love giving him 120 targets and making it happen. It was just that he had this high touchdown output, and it really had nothing to do with the receiving aspect of that. So
that's that's another thing that baffles me. I didn't mean to cut you off. The other thing that baffles me about LaFleur is he wants to run the ball with every receiver. Everybody has to run the ball. I'm like, can't they just be receivers, dude?
No, they can't, but it works for their offense because you never know what anybody on the field is going to do because they all do everything. But it's very difficult to retain fantasy relevance if you're only getting 5 or 6 targets a game. The way that you do that is Tucker Kraft, absolutely elite yards after the catch. So he may get 5, 6 targets, but he's turning a 7-yard pass into a 20-yard play. Right. Plus, given that he's a tight end, it doesn't take too much for him to kind of be a top 8 player every week.
Yeah, I mean, he hits that seam and just takes the ball with him.
Right. But Jordan Love, I mean, he's the ultimate facilitator. He can throw the ball wherever you need it to, but he's not going to force it. He's going to say, hey, this is my read. If this happens, I'm going to do this. It's not like like Stephon Diggs is going to be pissed at me if I don't throw it. Right. I'm going to throw it to him. It's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, we're just going to go and do what we got to do. So right. I think that's what Jordan Love is. I think that it's good for him as terms of like a fantasy quarterback, but I think that Packers will continue to get overdrafted. I don't see it for Christian Watson. As far as Brandon Ayuk, I just don't see it with the way that offense is rolling right now. I believe they said on the broadcast that they're actually leading the league in passing yards per game as a team. But honestly, so much of that is Christian McCaffrey. So much of that will return back to George Kittle. I think that they do have plans for Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings. I don't see Ayuk at this point, who's been a perpetual his home has basically been the Kyle Shanahan doghouse for like 8 years.
Yeah. And not only that, the last time he wasn't on the field for a while, when he came back, it looked like he didn't even know what he was doing. So yeah. I'm fully prepared for that sort of situation as well. I'm going to take just a second here. I want to talk real quick about Fast Draft for anybody that has not started playing yet. The best ball tournaments are in full swing already. They were all drafted before the season, but right now there's DFS on Fast Draft. And in the Quick Six Super Slam, you do not have to draft against people. You just pick your favorite 6 guys based on their matchups, whatever you want. No quarterbacks, all running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Just put them in there, plug them in. It's like $10. And man, somebody last week won a $300 first prize, and he also won the $30 second prize like 10 times. So he made like $600.
That's awesome.
And that's with a pretty decent amount of people, you know what I mean, in that you're playing against. But so if you nail it, man, you really nail it. The other one is the Flex 6 Frenzy, where you do have to draft, but it's down to 8 managers now. You can draft the whole thing in like 4 minutes, and that's $5 to get into. So, but enough from me. Let me let the Podfather tell you all about it.
Pour one out for an incredible best ball season. It was a breakout 2025 for Fast Draft, but now the NFL action has started. That means it's DFS season. That's right. You might think, oh, wow, DFS, I can't win DFS. Oh, but you can on Fast Draft. You just pick any 6 guys, and you put them in a handful of booster spots. There's no salary rubric you have to follow. You're not going up against thousands of killer bots in these tournaments. Oh, no. These are regular people grabbing their 6 favorite plays of the week, and that's all you have to do. And we post the ownership so that you can choose how much chalk you want. There is no drafting. It's called the Quick Six Super Slam. The Quick Six Super Slam is the signature DFS contest at Fast Draft. It is changing DFS. We are making DFS great again. So go to fastdraft.app and use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. And let's go start drafting faster.
The aforementioned promo code is right. It is WHIP. You can get matched $25, $20, $10, $50. Match it straight up. And on Fast Draft Fridays in the Discord, they do things like, hey, if you enter 5 contests, we're going to do a drawing for all the people that did, and the winner's going to get $150 thrown into their Fast Draft account, So we are already we're just cranking through this, man. But I like the fact that we've actually hit on a lot of the points just in our conversation, basically.
And a very extensive fair sheet that you spent countless hours preparing and grooming before the show.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to say part of that question that Annie had mentioned is Malik Washington droppable. I would say yes. He pretty much exclusively gets manufactured touches. So to me, I don't see him having a sustained role in that offense. That offense is going to revolve around 3 people the rest of the year. It's going to be Jalen Waddle. It's going to be Devon Achane. It's going to be Darren Waller. That's pretty much the only pieces that I would have any remote interest in on that Miami offense.
You know what? To be honest, I didn't even like Malik Washington coming out of college. So I've never been kind of sold on him. And sure enough, it's like boom bust if you're lucky.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten 5 targets each of the last 2 weeks, but I mean, he had a game against Carolina, 5 targets, 4 receptions for 0 yards. Like, this dude's ADOT is like non-existent. Right. So they're basically throwing him a screen and see if he can make a play out of it. That's not something that I have a lot of confidence in.
No, especially not for a second-year player. I'll tell you what. Let's do some waivers. I wish we could sit here and talk about injuries all day. Actually, I don't. But
turn them off.
There were a trillion of them, as there have been all this year. But you got anybody you're eyeing on waivers, Joe, in particular?
Yeah, let's see. I have a couple teams that have not gone so well. So players that I would be looking at. Man, oh boy. So I think if Kamani Vidal is there, he's somebody that you have to stash. You have to go pick up. You have to go make that happen. From a receiver perspective, you have a lot of folks that are dropping Calvin Ridley because of this injury. I think they were starting to turn the corner with him, and I think he's not – you don't necessarily have to spend the waiver claim, but he's a priority. Hey, when you wake up, go get him sort of situation.
Right.
Because, I mean, once they had Callahan stop running the plays, Ridley was performing a lot better. So I think that he can kind of return to that and be a decent flex play. There's a question in the chat about Luke McCaffrey. He's obviously played better, but it doesn't do anything for me. And Terry's going to come back at some point. So
yeah, Terry's going to be back possibly this weekend, more likely next week.
Another one, if you're in need of a win,
Luke's going to give you what you need.
Tez Johnson and like Sterling Shepard are interesting pieces to me, depending on the news for Mike Evans. The other one is going to be with the Puka Nacua injury. Whittington is going to logically step into that role, so he should get some more run if you need like a 1-week player. And Tutu Atwell has kind of had some big games as well, so I don't know if they'll give him more plays. He won't take over the Puka spot.
He's hurt.
Offense, right? But if he plays this week, that would be interesting. We already talked about Jalen Coker. He's still sitting out there in quite a few leagues.
Oh, tons. He's I think 14% rostered. Tez Johnson, I think, is 1%.
If that,
Sterling Shepard is like 25% or something like that. I mean, I'm pulling numbers out of my butt because I put them in the article today, but Yeah, Morstein, I get what you're saying. That Dallas is susceptible to the pass. I would say you could do Luke McCaffrey as long as McLaurin's not back this week, but you're really only going to rent him just until McLaurin comes back, and then kick him to the curb.
Yeah, it's tough because yes, he scored last week, but that was literally his only catch. His highest output has been 3 targets across these games, and he scored in 3 the last 4 weeks. The best thing that I could make an equivalence to is last year when Nick Westbrook-Akine literally scored every week for like however long. Yeah, it's cool that you're getting 9-10 points, but the 10.3 that he put up, that's wide receiver 31. I'm not going to waste a claim on that. It's just not worth it. If you feel that passionately against the Dallas matchup and you want to take that risk, don't burn the waiver claim. Just pick him up.
Don't use a waiver on him. Nobody else is going to pick him up right now. Nobody is thinking like you are thinking. In that they're looking at Dallas like, hey, Luke McCaffrey.
This is also
you could be way ahead of the game, so don't waste your waiver claim on him.
Yeah. Even if you feel that like he can kind of be that piece, I don't know. This isn't necessarily a player that I would play from or like use a waiver on, but Eddie Pinheiro, he's the kicker for San Francisco. He's put up 18, 17, 12, 10, 7 points since he got picked up in week 2. Their offense is humming. He's somebody that I would, if you're like, hey, like maybe you lost Spencer Schrader. Hey, maybe my kicker isn't performing. Pinheiro's already number 2 in the league. And
their offense is humming, missing like its entire starting lineup.
I mean, that's Kyle Shanahan, though. I mean, Mac Jones has come in and basically shown
Mac Jones has played very well.
That he probably was cast out of a bad situation and isn't. He came back to earth a little bit last week, but people hate kickers. I love having kickers in fantasy football. Eddie P, somebody you should be looking at if he's available. All right, man. One chug for Eddie P. I love that.
What's that?
Said one chug for Eddie P. I love that.
Let's see what else I got here. I got Tez. You mentioned that. McLaurin's going to be coming back soon, as is Marshawn Lloyd, which is curious.
Is he a real person?
Yeah, he is. Are
you sure? Because I've been hearing about Marshawn Lloyd for like multiple seasons, but I've never seen him on the field.
The thing is, Marshawn Lloyd is like ridiculously explosive.
That's what they say. But I feel like it's like in Mean Girls. Like, stop trying to make Marshawn Lloyd a thing. It's never going to be a
thing. Right. Stop trying to make fetch a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Marshawn Lloyd is rostered in 2% of leagues. They have not activated him yet. So
that's how I know that you're like a true fantasy football sicko. You're like, this could be the time for Marshawn Lloyd.
Well, no, I'm not really saying that. I'm just saying if you've got guys coming out of your IR slot and you're just looking to stash somebody,
like just put him in your IR slot.
Some of the sleeper leagues will let you search. Not just available players IR, or whatever. Yeah. You can search from IR. The only problem is they don't have it in order of like most popular guy.
I have beef with Sleeper right now. They're annoying me. It's like they're doing all of this stuff with players, like pictures as LeBron James and as their girlfriends and everything else. And then it was like in the fourth quarter, I'm trying to check my team, see how we're doing in a close matchup, and it's showing 0-0 on the app. Like, let's focus on the things that matter, boys.
Right. I also, because I do some social media for Profiler Now, I get alerts from that account in addition to mine on Twitter.
Yeah.
And man, whoever runs the sleeper social account
quick.
during football is like on so much cocaine
It's so
because it's
because I run the FSAN profiles and it's like something happens. I'm like, all right, I need to like find like a GIF or a video or something, and they've already posted like 4 times.
like like a whole bunch. It's ridiculous. Let me see who we talked about. Aaron Jones is not ready. He will probably take another week or so.
I think that there's a great sell high opportunity there for his counterpart.
For Jordan Mason.
Because, like, for Jordan Mason was pretty much doing the same thing that he's doing now. And Aaron Jones is just going to be basically the receiving back. If you look at the first couple of weeks, 15 attempts, 9 attempts, 16 attempts, 16 attempts, he is not very prevalent in the passing game. So it's pretty much you get what you get and you're hoping for a touchdown. That's the only thing that keeps him afloat. And he had that 1 week where he had 2 touchdowns. He was running back 7, but otherwise he's a borderline RB2, and that's even with a touchdown. So it's just, to me, it's like, oh, like you have somebody that's needy at running back, you flip them Jordan Mason, get a nice piece back. Like if you could flip him for like a hurt wide receiver, it's like something like that. Like to me, I think people are gonna be like, oh, well, like Aaron Jones isn't back, like that's great, he's gonna be the bell cow. His attempts aren't gonna be that much different whether Aaron Jones is there or not.
Yeah.
The hard part is it's a bye week this week, so
I feel like Mason. I feel like it's a lot of. I'm not saying he's bad, but it's like a lot of smoke and mirrors. Like there's this idea that he's really, really good, and like when you look at the numbers, you're just kind of like, meh.
He's kind of like a Zach Charbonnet to me.
Yeah. How far in the deep dark web did I have to find news on Marshawn Lloyd? You don't want to know.
That's what 2 cell phones are for. You have the weird search phone, and then you have your normal phone for your everyday use.
That's right. It's like permanent incognito mode.
Nasty.
Oh, let's see here. There's, what do you know? More injuries. McCarthy's coming back soon. They want to see if he can run on that ankle. And they're going to hold him out if he cannot. He can move on it. He just can't take off and run. But, I mean, Carson Wentz is 2-1 as a starter, so I don't think they're really freaking out. No. Brock Purdy hopes to be back this weekend. Lamar Jackson after the bye. Kyler Murray, I never even heard that he hurt his foot until the day of the game this week.
Well, yeah, the running joke was that he got concussed by that snap that hit him in the face. But it was a bit of a surprise inactive. That last practice that they had, he didn't practice, and that kind of like made it an alert. And then the Jacoby Brissett news kind of started bubbling. I think people were expecting a big day for Marvin Harrison Jr. because of that news. Then he goes out with the concussion. So we'll see what happens with him this week. Very unfortunate. Cost me my week, and Scott Fishbowl took my first loss, so that sucked. But, you know.
Oh, that was your first loss?
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're killing it.
Yeah, it's tough. So I lost. It was my worst output of the season. I dropped 270. So, you know, we just fight, we regroup, and see what we can do.
Man, sometimes I get excited when I score 270.
Yeah, it was tough. I was projected at like 360 and like way undershot.
Right.
But, you know, them's the break.
Hey, what are they going to do in Carolina?
Okay, so hot take, Chuba retains his role. I get that Rico has had this historic run. He's also played some historically bad defenses. I like Rico Dowdle. I was surprised that he actually landed in Carolina because he was a 1,000-yard rusher. He was pretty solid. I thought that he would have tried to go somewhere that would have given him the opportunity to start. Yeah. I think that he will take touches to keep Chuba fresh. But, I mean, Chuba's a captain of that team. They really like him there. I think that Chuba could have done similar work if he was playing.
Yeah, against.
So I don't think that they're just going to cast him out. Now, if it was against like this, like if he played against, say, I don't know, Houston and goes out and does that, or somebody that's like a sick tough matchup and he just crushed them, fine. But like, if you look at the lanes from that Dallas game, 5-car highway wide, they're like, okay, Chuba, like, here you go, bro. So I think I like him. He's a good player, but
Come
I
on
do,
through. Come
yeah,
on. Come
I was
on.
like, all right,
You
hold,
guys, wait.
come on. So yeah, I think that he'll get more work, but I still think that Chuba is going to be the guy for them.
I tend to agree with you. I think it'll be, I don't know. I want to lean towards the fact that they're going to try a 60-40, but I don't want them to. You know what I mean? You should not lose your stranglehold on a job because of injury. We all know that, even though it happens.
Right.
But I don't think you should cede that many carries just because the guy had 2 good games against 2 crummy teams.
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, he's probably fighting for his job a little bit, Canales. So if that's going to help keep the job afloat, maybe he does. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that team is going to live and die with how Bryce Young performs.
Right. Okay. What else do I have on the waiver? We talked about Coker, Tez Johnson, Sterling Shepard. Are you interested at all in Cameron Johnson in Tampa Bay?
I don't think so. I think that if I had to guess how this was going to go, if I had to pick someone up, K. Dotton, like I said, I think is going to be like a decent beneficiary. We saw this in a couple games last year when everybody and their mother was hurt for Tampa Bay. He kind of had the 2 big games at the tight end position. I do like Tez Johnson. I was very surprised that like he didn't get drafted at all. I was also surprised that he went to Tampa Bay, given that they had so many receivers at the helm.
Right.
But I think Sterling Shepard, he's going to be kind of like a safe floor play. I think Tez is going to be more of that volatile ceiling play if you're looking for something like that. And I do think that Mike Evans is going to put some Band-Aids on the hammy and give it a go.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And I've had Shepard on a couple rosters for several weeks, actually. Once I realized Mecca was kind of moving to the outside, and then Evans went out, and Shepard was getting more of the snap share. And, he was consistently putting up like 10 points for me. You know what I mean? Or 9 or 10. So, yeah, I mean, safe floor. But, again, what is he, 80? Something like that. But, yeah, I'm not interested in Cameron Johnson. I heard a bunch of people talking about him, and I'm like, no thanks, man.
To me, he's like the perfect example of like you can either have this thing or you can have what's in the box.
Right.
He is what's in the box right now, and no one really knows. Like, no one knew what his name was until probably yesterday.
Right.
And now they're like, oh, yeah, he's going to be the guy. Like, he could be the guy. Like, who knows? Maybe whatever. It's like, probably not.
No,
I never choose the box.
I don't choose the box. It's 0%. The box is 0% rostered. Fannin, we talked about, he's still at 27%. And Njoku is banged up. Fannin is leading the Browns in receptions. I'm just not a big fan of anybody from Tennessee. I know people are making a case for A.O. Manor with Ridley out again, but
I just would rather not. You got to.
I mean, they would have to throw A.O. Manor the ball literally 15 times a game.
He does get a pretty decent first read share. It's close to 30%. So, I mean, he does have that going for him. And Cam Ward has shown flashes of why he's the number 1 pick. I think there's this kind of like misconception that he's just playing awful. That team is just bottom 5 talent. And, and no coach is going to save that team. They were the worst team in the league last year. A quarterback that has no time to throw to no weapons. There's not much they can do with it.
I saw some tea being spilled that said that the Titans players all hated Callahan.
Yeah, that was on Reddit. Yeah, I saw that.
And that the owner was like, if I'm gonna lose to Mike again, it's not gonna be with that guy as my coach.
That's tough.
That is rough, man.
Yeah, it's an interesting predicament, right? Because it's like Mike Rabel has come in and has done really well outside of once again not wanting to play like his newly drafted running back. It's kind of like everybody has their toxic trait. That's Mike Rabel's toxic trait. But I think that's the risk that you run. It's like, yes, like, can you be stuck as like this middling team? But just because you tank and you get the number 1 pick doesn't mean you're just going to turn around and have things figured out.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. I'll be curious to see if the GM sticks around as well.
So bring a rookie head coach in. That makes a lot of sense. I give it, by the way, about 10 days, because the Bengals will have a mini bye after the Pittsburgh game before Brian Callahan is hired as a special assistant.
Oh, yeah, I could see that for sure.
He'll be an offensive assistant.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, at least bring your dad. See if we can do something with that offensive line, for crying out loud.
Yeah, facts. His dad's a fantastic O-line coach.
Okay, we talked about Kamani Vidal. I would make the case that if you can't get your hands on him, you should still get Haskins if you have that spot open, because I'm not convinced that this is Vidal's show. Likewise, in Arizona, you had Bam Knight had 2 more carries than Michael Carter after they let it slip that Carter was going to start. They had just about the same amount of touches, maybe 1 difference. That's another one where I think this is going to be like, buckle up. It's a committee. This is a timeshare waiting to happen.
I feel a lot more confident in that than I do about the Chargers. Haskins was only on the field 30% of the game, and he only saw 6 carries to Vidal's 18. So I don't, unless you're like hey, that was just a hot hand situation.
I think it was.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't always believe in the subtext, but just the fact that he knows Harbaugh, that he played for Harbaugh in college, that's the reason he's probably on the Chargers to begin with. It feels like when they're playing tougher defenses, they'll want him. He's a little more, I mean, he's not huge, but he's a little more of a thumper than Vidal is.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think the big takeaway from Arizona is that Demercado, you can drop him. Right. Just like he dropped that fumble at the 1-yard line, just let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. Just it's not happening. Stop trying to make that happen.
Yeah. It was a fun little moment there, but yeah, I think all of these guys go back to mediocrity or irrelevance once.
Very, very, very popular on the waivers is the guy we were just talking about, Kendrick Bourne. He's only rostered in 25% of leagues. I have fielded questions on Twitter all day about Kendrick Bourne, and I just keep saying the same thing. I'm like, as soon as everybody's back, he's just going to disappear.
He is a great sell candidate to me because people are going to be like, oh, 2 games in a row. That's a trend now. Like, he's going to be the guy. Like, these guys aren't going to come back. I was telling my little brother that today. He's like, yeah, I got Bourne last week. I was like, trade him now.
Yeah. For whatever. Yeah. Get a RB2.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's been great. He's been fantastic, but you're right. Even just Kittle coming back, that's going to do. Or as soon as Brock Purdy comes back, Kendrick Bourne loses his relevance.
Yeah. Yeah. Last but not least, and I should have said this to Angie earlier. I don't know if she's still here, but in addition to Fant, I also mentioned in the column today that Michael Mayer is still only rostered in 2% of leagues.
Yeah, that's a great pickup.
And they're saying that Bowers will not come back this week, and then they have a bye. So they're hoping he'll come back after the bye. But, I mean, his knee hasn't been right since week 1.
Well, that's complete negligence on the Raiders' part. They knew he was hurt. He said, I don't want to sit out. You have an elite player on your team. If you would have just did right by him and let him get healed up, you probably would have had him back. And now he's going to be out even longer than what he probably should have been. You have to take care of the player in that situation. Of course, any player that gets to that level is going to be uber competitive. They're going to do whatever they can to get into the game, no matter what it takes. But at some point, as Pete Carroll has to look at him and say, look, like, we need you for this season. Week 2 isn't the time to kind of go all in and kind of forego your body, forgo all these stuff. And now they're paying for it. Geno Smith looks awful. Like, it's bad vibes all around.
Yeah, Geno Smith does look really bad. I mean,
way worse than I thought he would be. I thought he could be serviceable for them.
I always thought that the one, like the really big season he had in Seattle was an anomaly because he had never done it before. He was a career backup up to that point.
Yeah.
And then he played, he was a serviceable starting quarterback for, several years after that. And so I
expected he had a very low percentage of turnover-worthy throws.
I mean, I think I could stand behind the line and throw it to Brock Bowers.
For sure. And I think the thing, too, is that he is a very accurate player traditionally. His accuracy has been off all season. So I don't know what that is. Would I rather, if I'm only picking one, I would drop Chris Godwin. Honestly, I would drop both of them.
Yeah, I would too. But Godwin is just, I don't think he's ever going to be right by the end of the season. So
at least he got paid.
He did get paid. So they must have known he was going to heal up eventually. But
3 seasons later.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I think we've run over enough time, don't you, Joe?
It's probably best for the people. It's late.
Okay. I want to remind everybody there is an article of the same name, Fantasy Whiplash. You can find it on Player Profiler. It has a lot of the names that we talked about today, as well as their roster percentages, if you want to take that in with you when you are going through all your leagues to do your waiver claims. In the meantime, Joe, why don't you tell the fam where they can find you?
Yeah, man. So we're all over the place. So I do a show on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. on the Around the 412 Fantasy Football Show. That's the show that I host with my boy Drew Hanna. So props to him. He's our injury guy. On Fridays, I do a show called From the Forum with my boy Tyler Bradley with the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. So that's where the majority of my content is. That show's exclusively Q&A, getting rowdy in the chat. Sam's been on a million times, so he knows how it goes. And then I also do written and video content for the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. I have an article that drops every Wednesday reviewing kind of trends on data for the last 3 weeks, so you can get better up-to-date information on how defenses are performing. I post that on our website, FSAN.com. I also post that on Reddit under the username Joey Hustle, which is probably how I got this Joey Frick thing here going. But other than that, always happy to answer people's questions. Good to be here. And mostly on Sundays, I'm throwing slang and memes so I can try to get paid by the man. So
yeah, that's what I do during Monday Night Football. You can find us on Twitter. I am at Buy and Sell You, all one word. Joe Frick is at Joe FRK. Can't miss him. We'll answer questions. If you got a question and you want to post something and tag us in it, we'll put our 2 cents in.
Yeah, let us know if you need help with Halloween costume ideas, how to feed an 8-month-old without wanting to hurt yourself. I've got it all covered right now. So.
He's a man of the people, ladies and gentlemen.
We do what we want. Karaoke hour, sign me up, we'll be there. It's really whatever you want.
Want to thank everybody for coming into the chat and all the people. We got quite a few people watching online right now. So thanks to everybody, and good luck with your waiver claims, and good luck in week 7. Get ready for that bipocalypse in week 8.
Oh, yeah, we got it.